are Geekcentric, and you can be too. Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast, and welcome to our special Behind the Geeks episode for the Apple TV Plus original series, The Last Thing He Told Me. My name is Justin, and if you're joining us for the first time, well, we are Geekcentric, a podcast covering the world of movies, TV shows, toys, collectibles, gaming, and all things Geekcentric. And today, I'm so happy to welcome AISHA TYLER to the Geekcentric podcast. As you may tell, I am on my own, flying solo, because the rest of the team is off traveling Europe after some Star Wars celebration, which we'll get to that at the end of today's episode. But today, as I mentioned, we are talking with AISHA TYLER from the upcoming Apple TV Plus original series, The Last Thing He Told Me. This is a gripping limited series based on the acclaimed #1 New York Times best-selling novel by Laura Dave and produced by Reese Witherspoon's Hello Sunshine production team. This stars Jennifer Garner, who is also executive producer on this series. This is created and adapted by the author, Laura Dave, alongside series co-creator and Academy Award winner, Josh Singer. The Last Thing He Told Me stars an ensemble cast led by Jennifer Garner, as well as Nikolai Coster-Waldau and Angourie Rice, Augusto Aguilera, Jeff Stoltz, John Harlan Kim, and our special guest, AISHA TYLER. The series follows Hannah, played by Garner, a woman who must forge a relationship with her 16-year-old stepdaughter, Bailey, played by Rice, in order to find the truth about why her husband has mysteriously disappeared. The 7-episode season will premiere globally with the first 2 episodes on April 14th, followed by one new episode weekly through May 19th, exclusively on Apple TV. Now, as mentioned, I had a chance to sit down with AISHA TYLER. She plays Jules, best friend to Hannah, played by Jennifer Garner. I talked with AISHA about how she found the motives and personality for the character of Jules and what really pulled her into this project. Plus, she also shares what it's like now being behind the camera, as she's now taking on more directing roles. And as a sci-fi geek, I had to ask her if there was any sci-fi fantasy world that she could be a part of, what would it be and why? And I guarantee you her answer will definitely be something that you'll want to hear. A huge thanks to our friends at Apple TV for setting up this interview. This was an absolute delight. AISHA is so down to earth and so warm. Just listen to the interview. You'll get what I'm talking about. And if you want to watch the interview, it is up right now on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/geekcentric. But if you stick around here, I will be sharing my high-level thoughts on the series, giving you a little more insight. But without further ado, let's welcome AISHA TYLER to the Geekcentric podcast. Hey, AISHA, my name is Justin. Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast. How are you?
Hi, Justin. Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's an absolute honor to have you on the show. Thank you for making the time today.
It's my pleasure.
You know, we're talking about The Last Thing He Told Me, and you play Jules, best friend to Hannah, played by Jennifer Garner, who is searching for her husband. I wanted to know, from in your own words, how would you describe Jules's personality and what motivates her throughout this series?
Oh, wow. I think that she's someone who is tough, but funny and driven. I think she's someone who really prizes her personal relationships, her friendships. And I think in a lot of ways, she defines herself as someone who is a good friend. And I think that that's not the same as being a walkover. I think it's like, if you have integrity, you take care of the people that you care about, right? And sometimes that means waking up in the middle of the night. And sometimes it means telling somebody what they don't want to hear because that's what they need to hear right now. So she's definitely someone who moves through the world, I think, with purpose and with integrity, but also she can crack a mean joke. Yeah,
she's definitely funny when she needs to be, and definitely she's always there when you need her. And I think that really, in this story, that is what is needed for Hannah to get kind of through this. Now, you started out in stand-up and you're incredibly funny, but you know, the show is focusing more on dramatic tone, and you've actually probably taken on more dramatic stuff as well. I wanted to know what drew you to the role of Jules in this series and made you want to be a part of it. And were there any elements to the story or the character that resonated with you?
Yeah, I mean, There were a lot of elements to me. First, it was that it was this incredibly popular selling book, and that the author of the book was actually going to be the person adapting the show, which doesn't happen that frequently, honestly.
Right.
Along with Josh Singer, who's an extraordinary writer as well, and then just this like multi-point pedigree of Hello Sunshine and Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Garner executive producing, Apple TV. It was just like a dream team of creative elements that I knew it was going to ensure that it would be a really high quality project.
Right.
And then, honestly, I mean, I loved the character of Jules. I loved that it was set in San Francisco because I was born and raised there.
Yeah.
So I felt like I knew women like Jules. I was plotzing when we were like at the San Francisco Chronicle. I grew up reading that newspaper. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Like it was just, it was really a wonderful opportunity to kind of represent a city that I think is really beautiful and intricate and unique, and these characters that live in it. Because it really, in a lot of ways, other than being this wonderful thriller, is this love letter to the Bay Area. And I really loved that about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been to San Francisco once, and I could just see it littered with the visuals and the iconic imagery of San Francisco.
Absolutely.
And I love that, it's your hometown, and that's something that really connects with you. You get to play, a strong character in your own hometown of San Francisco. So I think that's really great. My last question here, it's a fun question. As mentioned, you've been celebrated for being hilarious. You both have achievements in front of camera and now behind camera, taking on more writing and directing roles like Walking Dead and Criminal Minds. And I know you're a huge sci-fi fan, and we are called the Geekcentric podcast because we love to talk about all things geeky. I just wanted to know, for you, for fun, is there any sci-fi or fantasy projects or series that you would want to be a part of, either in front of camera or behind the camera, as a creator?
Well, it's interesting. It's like I'm like weirdly like superstitious about naming stuff that I want to do. I was like, I don't want to say anything about it until it happens. Obviously anybody would be super stoked to direct in the Star Wars universe. I mean, that would be amazing. And there's so much cool stuff happening over there that you're always kind of like hoping like something like that comes across your desk. But getting to direct in Walking Dead universe was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I was a huge fan of that world before I ever got a chance to direct. And when I got to direct one of the very last episodes of The Walking Dead, and the whole time I was just, I'm going to say a bad word, I was just shitting it. You know what I mean? I was like, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe this is happening. No way. So I still find a lot of joy in that stuff. And yeah, I've got some things I'm working on now, and I got my fingers crossed.
Well, fingers crossed for you as well. I'm looking forward to whatever you do next. Thank you so much again, AISHA, for joining us on the Geekcentric podcast. It does really mean a lot. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Peace.
Thanks. Bye.
And that is my interview with AISHA Tyler. Hell yeah, I would love to see her direct an episode of The Mandalorian. They're doing some mad crazy stuff by bringing on so many different filmmakers. So heck yeah, bring on AISHA Tyler. Let her direct an episode. That was a really fun interview. She is so down to earth. I am so grateful for the time that I had with her. Again, a huge thanks to Apple TV for setting up this interview. And again, a huge thanks to AISHA for joining us on the Geekcentric podcast. Now, I'm going to share with you my reactionary thoughts to the series, The Last Thing He Told Me. Now, this will be spoiler free. This is just going to be my high level thoughts. I'm not even going to give you a rating. But like I was saying, this is a mystery thriller that is on Apple TV Plus, and it is filled with some stellar performances and a really engrossing storyline. As I was mentioning at the top of the show, the series does follow a woman named Hannah, played by the talented Jennifer Garner, as she investigates her husband's mysterious disappearance while simultaneously trying to protect her stepdaughter from the dangerous secrets that threaten their family. The mystery at the heart of this series is well crafted, with plenty of twists and turns to keep audiences guessing. As the story unfolds, you're taken on a journey of discovery that keeps you at the edge of your seat. I will say the attention to detail in the writing is evident, as each clue and plot point is carefully constructed, that leads to the ultimate revelation. I think overall, though, that The Last Thing He Told Me is going to be a must-watch for fans of the mystery genre, and I think of fans of the original novel. As Aisha was mentioning in our interview, it's a rare thing when the original author of the book is a part of the TV adaptation, so I think that brings a level of authenticity to the story and elevates it that much more. Performances are great, the story is gripping, the mystery is compelling, and I was fortunate enough to actually get the entire season in preparation for this interview, and I burned through it fast because I was so interested in the mystery. Now, I know that you as the audience, you won't have that, but you'll have to wait week to week after the first 2 episodes drop April 14th. But I think that's going to be a benefit. You'll become invested in the story and wanting to see it unravel from week to week. So I think, again, much like the collection of work that Apple TV has on their platform, this is a gem in its own right. It has a, again, well-crafted story. It's shot really well. And yeah, I think that there's actually a potential for a season 2 and another story from a different point of view. And I think that could be really, really interesting. So yeah, I think it's, if you're into mystery, if you're into the original book, it's definitely worth checking it out. I guess my only complaint is that there was not enough Aisha Tyler. So hopefully if there is a season 2, they'll find a way to incorporate her more, because she is absolutely lovely. Again, thank you, Aisha, for joining us here on the Geekcentric podcast. And thank you, Apple TV, for allowing us to take part in the interviews. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, feel free to subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. And hey, if you want to write into the show, let us know what you thought of this interview. Or if you do check out The Last Thing He Told Me on Apple TV as of April 14th, so tomorrow, then feel free to write into us at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That's wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. Or you can reach out to us on Twitter at GeekcentricYT or on Instagram at wearegeekcentric. Keep in mind, we have a ton of other great content covering everything from the Geekiverse, including our spoiler-free review for the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which is in theaters now. We also got spoiler-free reviews for Kill Boksoon, a Korean film that is available for stream on Netflix, as well as a spoiler-free review for Tetris, an Apple TV original film, which is a good time, definitely worth checking out. And then we also have our spoiler-free review for Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, also in theaters. We just wrapped up our watch club for The Bad Batch Season 2. If you're a Star Wars fan, much like Aisha Tyler, maybe you want to take a listen to that as well. And speaking of Star Wars, as I mentioned at the top of the show, the boys are traveling Europe after a weekend at Star Wars Celebration. We're actually planning on recording our recap episode over the next couple of days, and we'll probably have that out at the beginning of next week. I know it's a little late, but hey, they're traveling. They're seeing the sights and sounds of Europe. So we are going to do a long distance record, but we will get it recorded and we will have it to you, sharing our thoughts on all the reveals, all the things that were shared at Star Wars Celebration in London. And also, if you want to see more interviews featuring myself, Nate, and the rest of the team, you can do so by going to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Geekcentric. Our latest interview features some of the cast and the co-creator from Schmigadoon Season 2 that is available now, featuring Nate. Plus, I have my interview up there with Mandalorian 3 executive producer director Rick Famuyiwa and Bo-Katan Kryze herself, Katie Sackhoff. We got more interviews on the way. We got some fun stuff cooking. While the gents are traveling Europe, I'm kind of holding down the fort, doing some interviews. So our episodes will be a little bit more sparse for the month of April, but we are coming back probably beginning of May with our final thoughts on The Mandalorian Season 3. That season has been killing it. So we're excited to get the geeks together to share our thoughts on the finale once that drops. So be sure to subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts so you know when our latest episodes drop. But until then, thank you for joining me for this special Behind the Geeks episode with Aisha Tyler. And until next time, peace.